Fellow Nigerians, this is a story of a man called Chioma Obi. This is a developing story that you will never forget in your life. Once upon a time in West Africa,
the land lay like a giant sleeping between two great rivers. On one side, the great river Niger flowed with a power that was both life and death. It was a god in its own right, its waters carrying stories from lands far away. On the other side, the smaller but no less important, the ANAM River, coiled through the earth, its currents whispering secrets to the reeds. This was the heartland of the ANAM people, a place where the earth was rich, and the spirits of the ancestors walked among the living. The sun rose and set on this land, painting the sky with colors of fire and palm wine. In the village of ANAM lived a man whose name was spoken with respect. He was not a small man, built as he was like the trunk of a baobab tree, solid and unmoving.
He was a wrestler. Among all the rural duelers of a beautiful African village called ANAM, he emerged a champon wrestler of those days. He was a very calm, very gentle, very soft-spoken.
He never looked for anybody's trouble. His bones are made of rock. His bones are made of adamantium. If you enter the ring with him, his fingers can break your bones. The level of strength in his fingers, it will be like iron hitting you. Nobody could ever bring his back to the ground. Until he joined his ancestors, he was never defeated in a wrestling.
Across the river, in the lands that would one day be called Anambra East, lived a woman named She was the pride of her village, a daughter of a respected family known for their fierce spirit. Was not just beautiful in the way a flower is beautiful. Her spirit was like the steady flame of a lamp, bright and strong.
Who is also from another African village called Nsugbe Town in Anambra, East local government area of Anambra State. She was a very talented musician. She was what you call today a graphics designer. She was a great farmer. She was very wealthy.
Nwovia, having heard tales of the spirited woman from the eastern banks, traveled across the water during a great festival. He saw
Ezagbo,
and he knew his heart had found its home. The courtship was one of respect and tradition. Elders spoke on his behalf. Kola nuts were broken, drinks were poured to the ancestors, asking for their blessing. His family saw in Nwovia a man of worth, a warrior and a provider who would honor their daughter. Their marriage was celebrated on both sides of the river. It was more than the joining of a man and a woman. It was a showing of the bond that held the ANAM people together.
But her husband, who was a poor wrestler, he did not have money. He was just an average man. But he was a very strong man with strong bones, so the wealthy lady married the wrestler to protect her wealth. While Ogbuefi Nwovia Okoye hails from Umuezi Anam in Anambra West local government area of Anambra State, Nigeria, the wife also was from Anambra East local government. Their boundary was the River Niger and the Anambra River. This story I'm telling you is over 150 years ago.
It was a time long before the coming of the white man, a period full of its own complex histories, politics, and cultures. Across the great continent of Africa, from the empires of Mali and Songhai in the west, to the kingdoms of Zimbabwe in the south,
to North Africa and to West Africa. But I'm only focusing on West Africa, from where this story emanated.
They built cities, made detailed trade networks, and created art that spoke to the soul of their people. Their world was not simple or basic. It was a society with established laws, with ways of governing, and with a deep spiritual understanding of the universe. It was a civilization that did not need discovering, for it was already home.
This story is going to be in parts, up to part 15, but just know, from ancient antiquity, the dwellers of modern-day Anambra East and Anambra West local government areas were a nation of warriors, a nation of wrestlers. They were very strong people, both the male and the female. So if you want to know how this wrestler and his beautiful wife produce a whole dynasty, a royal family, that is still rising in Africa today, and how this young lady married the wrestler to protect her wealth, then watch out for part 2 of this documentary. This is much we can say for this part 1. Subscribe to this channel so that you will always be the first to watch immediately the second episode, and all the episodes are uploaded. Please make sure you share. God bless you. Watch out for part 2 coming soon.